Hi guys, I'm here with Valerie and she's the owner of My Digital Kitchen. I've kind of sat down here for a few minutes and we kind of just caught up, and I asked her kind of about her business, kind of how her day was, and we got into a little more than what I thought I would be getting into. I thought I kind of knew what her business was all about, but it's so much more than I expected. So, if you guys haven't seen it on Instagram, you're missing out. When I checked it out on Instagram, I was like, oh, My Digital Kitchen.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it would be like a digital cookbook. Now, we're gonna fill you in a little bit. What do you actually do at My Digital Kitchen?
So I do two things at My Digital Kitchen. I do provide an online dessert catering service where customers can go on my website and order cookies, cupcakes, whatever you like, and it gets delivered to your doorstep. I also am a food blogger, so I also offer a lot of health. First of all, the dessert catering service, they're all healthy, sugar-conscious desserts. And for my Instagram feed, I also provide a lot of healthy, savory recipes for whatever holiday season's coming up, or just personal cooking preferences, things that are good for you, gourmet, and very easy to put together.
And drinks.
And oh, absolutely. I provide beverages, alcoholic and non-alcoholic. So, I mean, I think alcohol in the right amounts can be good for you. And I'll stick with that story. But it's just all things food and all the things that we all love about food, and that's what I share with everyone.
One thing that I didn't know walking into this is a little bit about your background.
Yes.
Why you started doing this. We actually went a little further and talked about a life event that happened quite recently.
Yes.
And how it shaped you and your business. So can we kind of recap that and talk about that for a moment?
Of course. So before My Digital Kitchen started, I wanted to become a lawyer. I mean, I graduated from York University and my plan was to go to law school. So before that happened, I started working at a law firm. I was at a personal injury law firm and I was there for about 3 years. I was a law clerk. And I thought this is the career that I probably should be in, because I frankly figured that was the only thing I'll ever be good at in my life. And then I realized that as time went on, I became increasingly unhappy and I knew that I had to make a change. So I literally went through a whole year trying to figure out what my talents were. You know, when people ask you, what are your talents? People say, I love singing, I love dancing, you know, they can play a musical instrument. I had nothing. I tried playing the guitar and, you know, I'm still learning that. That didn't come naturally to me.
Yeah.
I even tried pole dancing and I thought, okay, like maybe I could become a pole dancer.
Or at least an instructor.
Or an instructor, you know, and that didn't quite pan out the way I thought it would. So the entire time I even started learning French. I thought if I went to French school and learned French, I could work with the UN one day. And I didn't really have an interest in that. So I'm just going, oh my God.
Very ambitious of you, though.
Very ambitious,
Yeah.
but it's just so exhausting because I felt like I was trying to find myself and I wasn't sure what that was. But it's so funny, the entire time I was looking for my talent, I was already blogging on my social media. I would just make a recipe and post it just for the heck of it. And I didn't think that was anything. I'm like, everybody cooks, like what's the big deal? Until I noticed that I started getting a following because I was mostly posting healthier recipes that suited my dietary lifestyle. The things that I can go, okay, you can still eat this and stay in shape. It doesn't have to be very restricted. I gained a following from that to a point where My Digital Kitchen was previously Valerie Zingue. It was just a personal account. And when it blew up, I actually had to change it to My Digital Kitchen because I'm like, okay, like this is becoming more,
A thing.
It's becoming a thing. And I started attracting a lot of traffic. Gordon Ramsay started following my Instagram. I started getting hits from the Food Network. And then I started realizing, I think this is it. I was spending such a long time looking for what I was good at, not realizing that it was in front of me the whole time.
Right, it was within you.
It was within me. I just had to, take a step back and really just accept it. So that's exactly what I did. I quit my job and I decided to make this into a thing. I started catering little orders here and there because I would get questions like, oh, do you actually sell your desserts? Because I would have friends or family try some of my desserts and go, oh my God, you should make this you should turn this into a marketing thing or make income out of it. I just thought, yeah, you're just flattering me, whatever. But yeah, it turns out that there is a market for desserts and food in general, and I decided to jump into it. I'm like, it's something I'm good at. It's something I have a passion for. Why not do it? And that's how it all, that's basically how my company was born. So things were going well.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
Because you said that you do it with your own restrictions in mind.
Yes.
What are your restrictions?
You mean my dietary restrictions?
Yeah, because I know, like we've had
a conversation.
Yeah.
Yes. So I am, on the savory side, I am pescatarian. So I mostly follow a seafood-based diet, but I also specialize in sugar-conscious desserts, whether it's for catering purposes or for recipes for my blog. These are desserts that are either low in sugar or free of refined sugars in general. I keep a low carb content. I also keep them low in fat because I feel like desserts are you're not really looking to get nutrition from desserts. You're just looking for something that's easy to digest, low calorie, and something that would impact your blood sugars.
Right.
So those are the restrictions I put in place when I'm either catering my desserts, posted online, or even making them for friends and family.
So delicious, tasty,
delicious, luxurious, healthy,
yes.
tiny little bites. You can't go wrong with those. Yeah. So things, of course, with business. When I first started, I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, I basically told myself, if I was homeless in 6 months, then maybe this is something that I should probably revisit, because I thought maybe I could even work part-time while establishing a business, and I then realized that was impossible. When you are starting a business from scratch, it requires 110% of your energy.
Yeah.
You cannot do it part-time or it's just gonna stay stagnant.
Yeah.
10 years will go by and you will still be building a business.
Yeah.
So I really just focused on I didn't care about, anything else. I'm like, let me give myself a chance. It may work out, it may not, but I do have the passion and I have faith and a little bit of a savings. So that's what I did. I wasn't homeless in 6 months, but that didn't mean that I was rich either.
Right.
I mean, I was lucky. It took a while for my mom to even get on board, especially being so traditional about the definition of a career. You have to be a doctor or a lawyer, because she's a lawyer.
Yeah.
I have a family of architects and engineers, and she's just a baker. She bakes stuff. It's like, what is that? Does that pay your bills?
Yeah.
Are you poor? Like, what is that? So, yeah. It's still with business again, even when you get to a point where you find success, you're still gonna have stumbles and roadblocks, because it's always about getting better, beating your competition, developing something new and exciting. Like, that's just how it is.
And sometimes not even beating your competition, beating yourself.
Beating yourself, going out of your comfort zone is major.
It's like
that's
the
a big thing.
Yeah.
You have to be prepared to go out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
And some people may not know this about me, but I'm a bit of an introvert.
Oh.
I am. Yeah, I know. We were chatting the whole year, like, oh, but I am. I love solitude a lot. I love it, and I don't. Even when I was in university, I hated like public presentations and all of that. But in my field of work, that's number one. You have to be, an extrovert. You have to be outgoing and entertaining, and you always have to market yourself. So it forced me out of my comfort zone, and I do love it. I mean, it's even taught me things about myself that I never knew that I had. And in many ways too, it also helps me fight anxiety. But yeah, so I think we were having this conversation earlier. Things were up and down, and then there was a path where things became stable. and I was starting to see success in my business with income, with clientele, with structure. And 2018 was basically that year for me. From January to about August, things were going well, to a point where I actually finally, after 2 years, got the approval for getting my company trademarked. I got my certificate, and I'm going, yay, for 2 things. Now I own the rights to my company in Canada, and second of all, I did it all by myself because I used my law background to actually do the trademark application on my own. So that was like a plus for me.
It was a win-win.
It was a win-win,
Yeah.
and it was cheaper, so that was good. But of course, as you know, life can get tricky, and sometimes I think, you know, whether it's God or the supreme being that has a sense of humor. In September, I got into a really bad motorcycle accident. It involved the death of a friend and also me being severely injured. And I was actually airlifted to St. Michael's, and I was in the hospital for about 3 months. I basically missed all the fall, and I had to go to rehab afterwards to learn how to walk again and basically learn how to adapt to basically life after that.
Yeah.
The first thing that I remember when I had my accident was I saw my left arm and it was completely shattered. So I actually thought I was going to lose it. I broke 3 fingers, a bilateral fracture, lacerations everywhere. My injuries, to say the least, were extensive, to the point where I almost didn't survive myself.
Wow.
I actually learned later that my family didn't get the call for 3 hours or more because they wanted to be sure that I was actually alive. They weren't sure if I was going to survive. So they were like, are you going to identify a dead body, or are you going to identify?
Are you going to come help her?
Come help her.
Right.
So when they finally got me stable, then they made the call. And my family lives all the way in Kitchener. So that was a very long drive to Toronto. And they were with me 10 hours, like pre-op and post-op. And basically 5 surgeries later, I still have a lot of complications and limitations. So, you know, going from this super active girl who loved health and fitness, started a business, running around, you know, doing things that, you know, were suitable for me and trying to make a name for myself. And then something like this happened and you're basically back at square one. You're going, what the hell, you know? So it definitely just confused me, first of all, but then a blessing happened where I got a book deal while I was in rehab.
Wait, can we back up? Because
Yeah.
I know that we even said something so pivotal when we were talking about this, that something like this tends to just kind of change your DNA.
Oh, of course. So when you go through trauma, especially prior when you were so focused on just chasing success, and something like this basically slows you down, you realize that you cannot find meaning in what you do. You have to find meaning in yourself. And that's number one. You are not defined by your career, your business, your success, and your
status,
and
whether
your
that be like your mother, you have kids,
because all that can disappear. You could die. You could be paralyzed. You could lose something that you love so much. Like, anything can happen that can change your life. And if you sit back and you really take a step back to look at yourself and really define, who am I? I'm not this or that or anything external that I've accomplished. I am perfect just the way that I am.
Yeah.
It really teaches you that life is very unpredictable, and no matter how busy it gets, whether you're worried that whatever success that you're chasing is not being attained as quickly as you would like, you just have to realize that it doesn't matter. These things don't matter. I find that, you know, that with my story before, and even some others that I've spoken to, they feel so much pressure to accomplish so much. It feels like everyone needs to feel like they're something.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, you feeling like you're something isn't based on what you've accomplished. It's just based on you. If literally everything is stripped from you, are you still confident enough to say, hey, I'm still perfect in who I am, I'm still special, and I'm still worth it?
Yeah.
So it really taught me a lot, and I basically became so humbled by my experience. I wasn't bitter. It was painful, but, but You know, like I wasn't upset, I wasn't bitter. It actually gave me some time to really think about life, slow down, and really appreciate myself. So if things are not happening as quickly as I would like them to, that's just the way it's meant to be.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight the process. I'm just going to stay in my gratitude and learn how to be happy and comfortable in myself.
Yeah.
While, you know, I'll try my hand at something, and if it works out great, if it doesn't, I'll try something else.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I had to make that public service announcement just because
Yes.
I think that message is so critical, and a lot of people are fighting with that.
Yeah.
So I had to make sure that we did touch upon that. But back to your book deal.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so when I was in rehab, it was actually on my birthday, December 4th of 2018. I remember.
Coming up, wait.
It did.
Happy belated.
Thank you. But I was in rehab, and then rehabilitation from my injuries, by the way.
Gotcha.
Just in case it's airs in the US, I'm like, no.
Just in
case. But I got the email from a publishing house informing me that they love my social media, they love my healthy direction and my recipes, and they want to explore a book deal with me.
That's amazing.
At first I thought, yeah, this has to be a scam. Like, there's no way. Like, where is this coming from? Nope. Turns out it was extremely real, and it was just the right, I guess it was just maybe life's way of just telling me, hey, you know what? Here you go. You've been through enough.
Yeah.
Here you go. And it was such an amazing moment. I will never forget it. And here we are now, like over a year and a half later. My book is going to be published in April 2020.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's basically a cookbook for basically highlighting 30-minute low-carb dinners.
Oh, okay.
And I basically came up with that concept because they gave me the leeway to kind of go, okay, like, what do you have in mind? What would you like to do? Which is very cool. I never thought that you were given that flexibility to actually come up with a theme for your cookbook. And I said, you know what? This is my situation now. It's hard for me to even get back in the kitchen. I don't really have a lot of standing tolerance. I have to sit on a chair while I'm over the counter. And
wait, so basically your mentality and what you said is my situation due to my accident is I have little tolerance. I can't be in the kitchen that long. I have a fitness background that I would like to get back to.
And I'm physically limited at the moment to get back to that. So all I have left is what I eat. And when I realized that, okay, this is something that not only can help other people, but can help me, and I can also use this to also see if it works. So I said, let's start with this theme of, you know, low carb recipes. You know, when things are low carb, you're actually eliminating the majority of where your calories come from. And it's so much easier for you to actually, you know, get back in shape, whatever weight you have to lose, as well as also modifying like your other components as well. So I started making low carb dinners. I started experimenting with like different types of meals that are 30 minutes or under, whether it's a salad or even fish or anything. Just like, okay, how can I make this delicious? How can I make it quick? And how can I also make it gourmet? Because I also like things that are a bit on the fancier side, just to give you creativity. It's food, you know, you want to try something new and get out of your comfort zone. I found that, my God, this is actually a concept that works because you're eating low carb recipes. They're very quick to make. They're, you know, good for you, especially for someone who isn't super active. I'm not saying carbs are bad. Good carbs are good for you. The only problem is, in my situation, because I wasn't able to be as active as I was before, everything I basically put in my body matters. It's also what it does to you mentally, because I also needed a detox when I was in the hospital and when I was in rehab. Everything you eat has no nutritional benefit whatsoever. It's just supposed to keep you fed, and you're eating all these types of food plus pumping your body with a lot of medication. It takes a toll. So I also needed to reset my body completely. and I put all these concepts together. I did a lot of recipe testing, 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Wow.
And yeah, the book 75 Recipes, it was born, and yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you're doing, and this shows me my mentality. When you're doing recipe testing,
Yeah.
who is eating all that food? You're doing one
Oh,
recipe like
gosh.
4 or 5 times.
Oh yeah, like of course the first person who has to like test it out is you as the cook.
Yeah.
And of course my mom was with me the entire
Amazing.
time because she
Okay.
had to come take care of me. So she was like my chief recipe tester. I had friends that would come spend the night. They would also try the recipes. And keep in mind, I am pescatarian, so I mostly eat seafood, but my book has everything from meat to poultry to vegetarian and everything. So you can also wonder like who's there to test your meat recipes, and I had to basically like get my mom, get my aunts, cousins, friends to do that.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that was very helpful.
Don't you love where my mind goes? I'm like,
Right?
Who did you hire to eat all this?
And I still test recipes because I do have a blog, so I still have to do some like, okay, recipe creations, testings in here and there. And if it's something I cannot eat, I'm like, hey, can you come over? Come over for dinner.
Oh, that's the sweetest call anyone can get. Just come over and eat.
Come over and eat. I'm
Perfect.
cooking. So yeah, so that's basically what has happened for me in the past year. You know, I took, and also with my experience, I realized that I also wanted to revamp the menu on my catering website, because although what I had before was good, my experience now actually shows me even other ways I can make it better. So
Because you were making it better for you as well.
Yes.
Like it's what you now had to eat.
Of course. And
Yeah.
who better to tell you if it works than the person, you know, themselves, right? You know, it's me. This is my experience. This is what worked for me. It has different effects on everyone, definitely, but based on my experience, this is what I used to heal.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it all happened. So right now, I'm in the process of publishing my book, and also basically changing the menu, or revamping the menu rather, on my website, and also just learning that business or not, your business is not defined who you are.
Yeah.
You have to define who you are, and you always have to find the joy in life, especially when you're given a second chance like I was.
Oh,
So.
I love that message.
Thank you.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah,
Okay, so I have a question.
of course.
Your two like employment fields are fairly different.
Okay, yeah.
We went from being a lawyer,
One needs to become a lawyer.
pardon me,
Yeah.
wanting to become a lawyer, to culinary.
Yeah.
Where did you always have a passion in culinary?
Nope, I had none.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny because my mom, when I was a kid, she actually had a tiny little catering thing going on. Like I remember her being an amazing cook. She had this cookbook called the Crocodile Cookbook, where it was basically written by wives who would get together and contribute like their family recipes, and they just make that into a big crocodile cookbook. And so she would make a lot of desserts and also some food as well, and she would sell it. And I was never in the kitchen going, oh, I'm learning how to cook.
I can't wait.
I can't wait. No, I just wanted to eat it. Like I had zero passion for that. Where the passion actually started was, I had this huge fitness kick when I was in high school. I gained quite a bit of weight and I wanted to get back in shape. And then when I lost my first 15 pounds after grade 10, it kind of escalated from there. So when I moved to Toronto, I actually got a personal trainer because I just wanted to kind of update my fitness regimen and just get better. But I didn't realize at the time that nutrition was also tied to healthy eating. I just thought, eat one slice of bread instead of two, or a tiny low-fat yogurt instead of, full-fat version, and work out 5 times a week, and you're good. So she actually got me in touch with a nutritionist, and at the time, because I said I was mostly seafood-based, I found that based on the goals that were set for me at the time and based on my dietary restrictions, I didn't really have a lot of flexibility on my menu at the time. And I just thought, oh, I don't want to eat chickpeas today. Oh, sweet potato.
It's hard.
Bessie, I'm just like, there has to be something more.
I keep seeing these ingredients.
Yeah, it's like repetitive and
How do I
it's
make
redundant.
this?
And you're just
Yeah.
like, I feel like I don't know how long it's gonna take me to get to my fitness goals here. And until that time, this is what I have to follow. I don't want it to be too hard. I feel like there has to be something more.
A better way to
There
do
has
this.
to be more variety, especially for, you know, my type of dietary restriction. So I went on Google, I started searching like different things to eat to get this amount of muscle mass or to lose this amount of fat, how to combine this and that. Desserts I can also eat that can still assist with my weight loss. What can I do? And also economical methods too. And that's basically how it all started, because even when I got my eating plan, I still had to cook my own food
Yeah.
from that, right? And I'm like, ugh, it's chickpeas and tofu and all of this. Like, I don't, this is like, it's okay, it's good, but when it's constantly repetitive, it just feels, ugh. So,
How do I make this less redundant and more enjoyable?
more enjoyable and just a bit more color, a bit more fun. And that's basically how it all started. And again, like I said, I deleted Instagram twice, so I almost did not. It's just because I didn't. I was social media for me at the time just seemed exhausting, and
Yeah.
this was way back in 2011, so Instagram was still fairly new,
Yeah.
and at least it was for me. So it just started with me creating these things and just posting on my, because I didn't have any selfies to post, so I would just post food taken on my couch and very like on my 4G smartphone. And yeah, I started looking for other fitness accounts. I started following a few. I started tagging them in my pictures, and one thing led to another, and it just blew up. And that's when I realized, oh my goodness, this is actually something I'm good at. Yeah, and that's kind of how it became my digital kitchen, really.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I think the thing that drew me to you the most, other than the fact that you make amazing food,
Thank you.
is, and it's something that I'm horrible at,
Oh, what is it?
taking really aesthetically pleasing food pictures.
Oh, that.
Is there any tips or anything that you're like, oh, anything that you see online that you're like, people, please stop doing that?
Honestly, no. I feel like everyone's different, and you know, I mean, I feel like also the beauty is subjective. You know, I have my own styling method. I didn't even know how to style before. Like, it just kind of happened. I didn't take any classes in photography or in food styling or aesthetic presentation. It just kind of came naturally to me. So I wouldn't see other pictures and go, oh no, like do this way or that way, you know? For them, I feel like if they took that picture in that moment, they probably found it aesthetically pleasing. They captured it as they saw it. I will say, like, what you see on Instagram, though, isn't what is behind the scenes. I mean, behind the scenes for me is just a mess. I mean, I make sure I keep the area of food safe, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's just, yeah.
I understand it completely.
Yeah, it's a lot of work and a lot of dishes.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
the
sorry.
dishes aren't fun, I can tell you that. I'm so happy I have a dishwasher. I couldn't live here if I didn't.
the behind the scenes of everything that you go through.
Oh,
I
yeah.
completely understand.
Oh, of everything, of life, cooking, everything you can think of, you name it.
Can you tell me how long you've been doing this?
Oh man. Well, I would say the business officially started in 2016, but I've been doing this since 2012.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it takes a while, because again, back in 2012, I didn't started thinking I'm gonna make this a career one day. I was still thinking about how am I gonna get into law school.
Yeah.
This was just a hobby and something to put on my Instagram account because my friend forced me to get Instagram. And now like I need to, I
Can't live without it.
like I'm so grateful.
Yeah. Is there anything else? I think we got a really good understanding of your business. I don't know whether we talked about this personally with just you and I or
Right.
on camera, but in terms of some things that you do cater, you cater sweet and savory, mostly sweet.
Mostly sweets, yes. So I mostly started with catering desserts, but next year, I'm actually expanding into catering breakfast items. So bagels and sandwiches that you can have in the morning, things you can even grab on the go, or even send as care packages depending on where your loved one is. So yeah, again, it's about improvement, it's about expanding, and of course, with every business, you always start on a small scale just to see how that goes. And it's also easier to manage. And when the demand grows, then you can evolve and expand.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what you mean by care package?
Yes, so care packages are just little cute packages that are more personalized. Rather than sending a large scale of items to corporate offices or catering to birthday parties or private events, a care package is more personalized. It's something that you can actually offer to send to a loved one, especially this time of year. It's the holidays.
Yeah.
You might have family members that are far away or even in the hospital. And when I was in the hospital, I found that there were so many people who, we're all dealing with different injuries and situations. And the nurses can only do so much. The doctors only do their jobs and they leave. And sometimes the mood is very,
somber.
It's somber, it's a little bit dull. And of course, what do you expect? Everyone's just dealing with their injuries.
Yeah.
You can't expect much. So when you actually send a care package to someone in that situation, it makes them feel loved and thought of, and it makes them feel even encouraged to heal. So basically with my company, we offer 3 different desserts for our care packages, as well as little gifts here and there. So what I get the customers to do is when they are requesting a care package to be sent to a loved one, I tell them to tell them a little bit about that person. If they're going through something in that moment, or they have any goals, even if it's I'm going on vacation next year for a wedding, or something they like to do that really speaks to their personality. And I use that to formulate the gifts in the care package, as well as little notes here and there, just as words of encouragement.
I love that.
And that's sent off, yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else that you feel as though everyone should know about, but may not? Tell me about your book. Is that going to be digital or paper?
Oh, it's a paperback book. It's going to be on Amazon, as well as Indigo, Chapters, or Barnes & Noble in the US, as well as Winners, Costco, and HomeSense. Yeah.
Wow.
And
that's great.
and it's 30-minute low-carb dinners. It's published April 28th of 2020. And yeah, it's available worldwide.
Congrats.
Thank you. I'm
Anything
excited.
else? It's okay if the answer is no. I think that we had such a good
conversation. Yeah. All I can really say is, again, just take life one day at a time. Success is not overnight, and no matter what, you always come first, and do not let anything else define who you are. So that's it. Life is beautiful, regardless of the stumbles here and there. It's beautiful.
That's a perfect way to end this off.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time
Thank
to
you for
talk
having
with us.
me.
My pleasure. It's been amazing getting to know you and your
as well.
business.
Thank
you. If you guys are looking to get in contact with her, I'll leave her information maybe like right there. Please like, comment, and share. As always, thank you for supporting local. Thank you.
Bye.